Well, it's great to be here to talk to you about street fight and street fights, which is what it's all about in cities across the world these days. And this is about the transformative power of the street and the future of cities. And it really is about how to read the street and how communities can look at their streets and use them differently, to literally rewrite the operating code of their streets. How to move fast, do things quickly without a lot of money, and how you can literally outline the city that you want to see with something as simple as paint. I have a complete crush on David Byrne. I've always had a crush on David Byrne. In fact, one of the very first trips I took was to Bogota, and I ran around the city with Amanda Burton, and we had been on bikes with Enrique Peñalosa for something like 8 hours. And I was kind of out of my head, and I started talking about the fact that I actually had this huge crush on David Byrne. And Amanda Burton, she actually found a way to get me seated at a table next to David Byrne. We talked about bike lanes, we talked about bike racks, and now his bike racks are on the streets of New York City. I love those lawn chairs, and those lawn chairs had a very eventful life because when we put the orange barrels out to close Broadway to traffic from 42nd to 47th Street, we suddenly realized we had this huge expanse of asphalt and we had nothing there for people to sit on or enjoy. And so thanks to the incredible wit of Tim Tompkins from the Times Square Alliance, he went to Pinchink hardware store, bought these $12 beach chairs, and voila, we had a brand new public space, and everybody talked about the beach chairs. Nobody talked about the fact that we'd closed Times Square to cars. It was all about beach chairs. And I still have one of those beach chairs in my office today. I really like the pop-up pools, which we put up in the shadow of Grand Central. And they were so popular, we actually had to set up a wristband system to time people's entrance to the pools. But there was nothing cooler than swimming on the streets of New York City. Yeah, it was kind of escape from New York and escape from the pack. But it was one of the most joyous days I've ever had. There must have been 100 cameras that were there. So I was with John Orcutt and Seth Solomonow and Howard Wolfson, and we're all riding up First Avenue in the parking protected bike lane, and the pedestrians are on the refuge islands, traffic is flowing, and the select bus services is running, and it felt like there were birds singing and rainbows. It was one of the happiest days of my life.
And finally, you know, your first public bike ride was at the Tour de Brooklyn in 2007. And what was it like when you saw this maniac from Streetfilms ride up alongside you?
I knew that it was going to be a very interesting tenure at the New York City Department of Transportation when one of my very first encounters was with Clarence Eckerson, who was in one of those low bikes with his camera just so. And I think our very first encounter was a big high five.